Hello and welcome to the Cultural Capacity Podcast, Workplace Wellness Edition. My name is Gonzalez-Howard and I'm going to be your teacher today. Someone who I work with in my community on a professional basis put out a survey this week to her coworkers who she oversees, and she mentioned that she's getting some interesting questions back on this survey, one of which kind of surprised me. Now, it didn't surprise me because people are going about their work with this approach, but it surprised me that people were feeling vulnerable and transparent enough to go ahead and share this, and I think it's really helpful that they did. It is really valuable feedback for this colleague of mine on a professional level to see how she might get people interested in learning about themselves differently than how they're currently approaching it. So here was the question she received. Why don't you just tell us what to do? I had a really chuckle when I first heard this because it really made me think back to my early days in nursing, where I was still in a student mindset. I had just graduated from nursing school. I was taking in everything like a sponge, and I was eager to have somebody tell me what to do so that I knew that I was doing things in a correct manner. The survey was anonymous, so I don't think the experience level of this person is known, and I don't think it's even relevant to this story, other than I wanted to talk today a little bit about kind of the challenge of our career paths and our professional lives, and why it's important that we are not looking for somebody to tell us what to do when we reach a certain level. When we start off in a new role, it can be confusing, it can be stressful, it can be exciting, it can be any number of things. And a lot of times those big emotions kind of overshadow what is to become maybe kind of a mundane routine that we're going to have to deal with for years and years to come. Some of us thrive greatly with a solid routine and predictability. Some of us, and I am one of these people, thrive under uncertain circumstances, and sometimes this can relate back to how we grew up. Maybe we grew up in kind of a tumultuous home situation, things were unpredictable, and we just kind of learned to go with the flow in these situations, and so life doesn't always seem so exciting when things aren't in constant change and upheaval. That's not necessarily a healthy way, but it is a way that people go about looking at routine in their lives. Myself, I was an ER nurse for almost a decade, and so you could say I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie. I like the unpredictability and the change to a point. My current work is outside of the healthcare sector, and most of it is project-based and client-based, so that also gives me that same effect of not knowing what's going to come and kind of having that excitement about each new project that I take on. For me, this works, but there are some people who definitely want to roll out of bed every morning feeling very safe, secure, and very predictable in their routine. I also think this is very good and very healthy for everybody to adopt some sort of flow in their day. For people like myself who have kind of a lack of routine, it's really important to establish some sort of consistent workflow so that we make sure we're getting things accomplished and not just always up in our heads. Some professions are designed to kind of do the same thing over and over again. In my area that I live in, factory work is a very common profession for many people. And for these scenarios, you are going to get that list of to-dos, and once your day is done, you're done and you get to go home. There are a lot of other fields that can have the same type of feeling, probably retail, customer service, things of that nature where you don't always get to choose who your customers are, but predictably you get to go in and complete the same tasks each and every day. It is not a bad thing to go into work wanting somebody to tell you what to do, as long as this isn't going to impact anybody but you. So what I mean by this, are you working with clients on a regular basis? Are you working with different people of different ages? that will require you to kind of extend yourself in different ways and learn new ways of interacting with them. If this is a case and you are providing a service to somebody, you very well will find yourself in a situation where nobody is going to tell you exactly what you're going to be doing in your day. When we choose a service-based career, whether that's public service or otherwise, we need to keep in mind that our entire life of our career will be deeply wrapped up in furthering our own personal development. This is primarily because if we want to, at a baseline, grow our impact, grow the way in which we serve others, the way in which we are able to teach others, etc., if we don't take these steps to continually enhance our own knowledge and ability to perform in our individuated ways, we're probably going to be stagnant, and we're going to be that person hanging behind kind of in a very perhaps apathetic way of thinking as our peers and colleagues kind of advance around us. I think often a really clear measure of our success in what we've chosen to do is by the outcomes that our clients and people that we serve experience. Are they being successful in what we're doing to work with them? Are they being successful in how they're able to partner with us? Are they being able to go out into their own sector and further develop themselves and others around them? Is there something of a snowball effect that will continue to grow and enhance the lives of people around us? If the answer is no, this isn't even important, you're probably not in a service-based industry, and you are one of those people who maybe prefer to go in and have your boss tell you, do X, Y, Z, and then you may leave for the end of the day. However, if you are a person that is impacting the lives of anybody around you, the answer to your success and to the continuation of your own professional development is to get rid of that expectation that anybody's going to tell you what to do or how to be successful. There is no judgment at all here on what path people choose. However, it's very unlikely that you're going to be a happy person at the very least. At the very most, it's unlikely that you're going to be a successful person if you go into a business of serving others and you have this mindset of needing somebody to tell you the steps to do what is considered successful in your specific sector. This requires time, deep dedication to the work, and an ability to analyze what's going well and what needs to change. We each have a personal responsibility to be constantly evaluating this through the course of our careers. And if at a point we are requiring somebody to analyze this for us or wanting somebody to continue to tell us the steps in which we have to take to be successful, then perhaps we need to look at why we're doing what we're doing in the first place. Perhaps that's not for us. Fortunately for all of you, at Educator Aid, we have a whole bunch of professional development resources that are free to the public to use how they see fit. You can use them for yourself. You can use them with your teams. We have a ton of free content and free workshops on our YouTube channel at Educator Aid. And if you are in an organization or a leader in an organization in search of kind of paid resources, you can check out all of our offerings at www.educatoraid.com. We have a full list of our services there along with price points. Not only are we here for you, but there are plenty of other professional companies offering similar resources and services on the internet. So there's really no excuse to not continue to further develop yourself. If you find yourself bristling against or resisting this type of conversation, I would just ask you to pay attention to that trigger or that feeling and kind of do some deep introspective work around that. Are you a person that maybe doesn't want to engage in further professional development for a lifetime? Are you a person who just wants to kind of settle in and enjoy the comfort of having somebody kind of lay out your day for you? That's perfectly fine. I have totally taken those jobs in my past, not only as a means to get by, but at times because it actually is a bit of a relief to not have to have the mental strain of continually pressuring myself in different seasons of my life to get better, quote unquote, or do more, quote unquote. Sometimes what's meant for us is the deep beauty and simplicity of simply, doing a task and doing it well and doing it consistently. And that is enough for us on some days, and some days we want to challenge and extend ourselves. The primary reason why it's unlikely that your boss or your supervisor is going to tell you exactly what you need to be doing in your service-based profession, it's unlikely because they're very busy taking care of running their own development and kind of keeping an eye on the big picture. It is unlikely and actually pretty unreasonable for us to expect the people in charge to be constantly, kind of handing down orders to us as we come in day by day. At a certain point in our adult lives, we take on a responsibility. And if we take on a responsibility to serve others, then it's completely and 100% honest to figure out how to do to the best of our ability. We owe that to ourselves, and we owe that to the people that we work with. If one of these sounds more appealing to you than the other, I would, again, just deeply examine where you're at in your life. What are you doing with your life? Where do you want to be right now? Are you doing the things that you want to be doing? Are you taking steps to enhance the areas of expertise that you currently are practicing? Perhaps it may be even time for a shift. There are absolutely no reasons or shame to be had for shifting your point of view as you go through different seasons of life that require different things of you, both energetically during your professional time and at home. I hope you found value today out of this episode of the Cultural Capacity Podcast. You can tune in every Friday where we'll upload a new episode. Once a month, we feature a featured voice episode where we have somebody who we interview from different professional sectors around the country. Make sure to have a great weekend and tune in next time to the Cultural Capacity Podcast.